A new record for Americans, not one to brag about. The amount of our total personal income coming from government aid jumping from about 12% in the year 2000 to nearly 20% last year. And that is an all-time high. Adam Hasner says the push for bigger government is pushing more Americans to rely on the government. He's a Florida Republican running for the U.S. Senate. So welcome to the program. Good to see you.
Appreciate you having me on.
Oh, I got to tell you, sir, this reminds me of Europe. More money coming from the government to people, less work getting out there as paid employment. Strikes me like we're heading down that road. What do you say?
Well, we are certainly heading on that path, and this is outrageous. And when I read the news, I realized that President Obama was not kidding around when he said he wanted to fundamentally transform America. And it's his plan and the Democrats in Congress, like Bill Nelson, who are trying to create larger government and more dependency on government. And we are headed toward the cliff. And what we need to do is cut spending in Washington. We need to rein this back in and be able to move toward a balanced budget and be able to get fiscal sanity.
You sound a lot like Marco Rubio, if you don't mind me saying so. Have you been compared to him before?
Well, I'm proud to call Senator Rubio a friend. We served together in the state legislature. He actually selected me to be his majority leader when he was Speaker of the Florida House. And I think we see things very much the same way. We have a very similar worldview. But I would tell you that we arrive at our views in a much different way. I'm the son of two former public school teachers, liberal Jewish Democrats from Brooklyn, New York. And so my conservative views of how I see the world come from a much different perspective than Senator Rubio's.
How are those Passover dinners? Not too comfortable, I suggest, but I digress. If you look at America, take this as a snapshot of America. More government handouts and only 50% of our national income coming from paid work. That's not a very attractive snapshot of America, and I'm wondering if that becomes an issue, maybe the primary issue, in 2012.
Well, I think jobs in the economy and what we're doing right now in terms of Washington and out-of-control spending and bankrupting our country is going to be the debate. And I think right now we're forcing the debate on the issue of, right now, the next big one is going to be on the debt ceiling. We have to get spending under control. If we can't begin to cut spending and have the type of tax reform to grow our economy, more and more people are going to become dependent on the government for their income. And I think it's outrageous. And I think what we need to do is have a debate here for 2012 that's going to get America back on the right track, which means more people back to work and less people being dependent on government from entitlement spending for their income.
We can't go on like this. I mean, these transfer payments that are going out are actually going to go up from this record level. They go up. And much of that money that we transfer is actually borrowed money. I mean, the crunch is coming. We cannot go on like this.
And that's what the debate in 2012 is about, is who's going to have the courage to stand up to the Democrats in Washington on taxes, on spending, and on the debt, but also who's going to stand up to the Republicans to make sure that we remain true to those very principles, because we are driving America's economy right off the cliff. This entitlement spending is just another example. We've seen it now as well, with over 45% of Americans not paying income taxes. And I never thought I would see the day when we're seeing the types of warnings from the S&P or from the IMF about America's future fiscal stability. These are certainly scary times, and the people I'm talking to as I travel around the state of Florida are scared about the future, not just for their children and grandchildren, but for what it means today. And if we don't get spending under control and reduce the size of government in Washington and make it less relevant in people's lives, then we are certainly headed towards that European-style welfare state that you're talking about.
Adam Hasner, we thank you very much for joining us, sir. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. Do you see